Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that used to be addicted to soap, but I'm clean now. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Cubitos from AEG. In Cubitos from AEG, 2 to 4 players take on the roles of various animals as they attempt to go on the kookiest of races with the help of dice. You're going to select one of a few different race boards that you're going to have. You're going to select your specific animal that is going to take part in this race. Now, each of you are going to have kind of a little player aid that's got a spot for your dice and how you're going to use and separate your die during the game. Now, there are 2 distinct phases in the game. There's the roll phase and there's the race phase. Now, at the beginning of the game, you select cards that are going to represent each of the die, and these cards have different abilities. So when you buy the cards, they're going to have different abilities for that die, and there's a ton of different colored cards that match the colored die that have these different kinds of abilities that will help you during the game. So you've got your die in your roll area. You go ahead and you roll your die, and they're either going to come up with feet or money on it or some other symbols. If they come up with symbols, you put it kind of in your hit zone. Now, if you have less than 3, you can re-roll without penalty, without fear. But if you have at least 3 hits and you want to re-roll the remainder because they came up blank, then you take a chance, because if they come up blank again, then you've busted and you essentially lose your turn. Now, once you go to the run phase, you look at all of the hits you've got. For every foot symbol, you can actually move your character 1 space in the race. However, if you rolled money, then you can buy more die and put them in your kind of your discard area there, as it were. But if you roll the other symbols from other die that come up during the game, then they're going to give you all sorts of kooky advantages. They're going to let you do all sorts of crazy things. Now, you're also going to have a small fan track that's next to the racetrack. If you do bust, you do get a move up on that, and that may give you some rewards as the game goes along, and you may have the opportunity to move along the fan track by where you land on the racetrack. As you move through the racetrack, you can go ahead and move on different symbols that will give you things. Like, as I say, you can move forward on the fan track. You may be able to get rid of some dice, discard dice, kind of culling your dice deck, as it were. You can get credits, which are kind of money that stays, that doesn't vanish from turn to turn the way the dice money does. So there's different advantages you can get as you're moving along your track. You can also get kind of a token that allows you to roll more die than your kind of standard. Now, whenever one player crosses the finish zone, triggers the end game. You play to the end of the round, you try to see who gets across there and who gets furthest. Whoever has moved the furthest past the finish zone wins Cubitos. So Cubitos, a few things about Cubitos. First of all, when the good people at AEG sent me this game, and it just did not look interesting to me. I was not, the artwork is the cheese and lederhosen, and it was silly, and I typically don't respond to silly. So I saw that, I'm like, okay, I'll play it, but I'm not expecting much. And then I saw who the designer was. The designer is John D. Clare. Now, you will recall John D. Clare, among other games, has designed Space and Ecos, the first continent, and I love those games. So this guy's like actually a really good designer that I'm really fond of, and so I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I was suddenly a lot more interested. And then I kind of was reading through the rules and stuff. I go, oh, this is like a deck builder with dice. Kind of reminds me of Dice Masters. I'm like, okay, all right, I think I can get on board with this. And the game is cute. It's got that cute aesthetic, which I'm not a fan of. But the game is the thing. And so we played this game, and it was really interesting how the different die, the different advantages that come with the different die. And it's interesting that every game you can swap those around. So there's a lot of there's a lot of differences. The game is quite different from game to game, depending on the different die you're going to play with. The different tracks provide some replayability as well. But one of the things that I really kind of responded to in this game is the push your luck aspect of the game. I really enjoyed that. I thought the push your luck stuff was really a lot of fun. You've got a good roll, but it could be better. Do you do it? And then you bust, and it's like, why did I do that? And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of the gnashing of teeth there. It was tremendous fun. Really fun. The cute artwork, like I say, that was a little bit of a minus, but it didn't detract from the gameplay, which I really, really enjoyed. One other thing I do want to mention, it comes with these little like boxes that you kind of put together, and it's kind of a pain. I wasn't a huge fan of that aspect of it. I mean, I can see why they did it, but it was just kind of a pain putting them together, and I didn't respond to that too well. But again, it's a minor problem. This is a fantastic game. This is probably the first great game of 2021. I really enjoyed this one a lot more than I thought I was going to when I first saw it. And now, of course, it's no surprise because John DeClaire is a great designer. I'll give him a chance whenever he comes up with something. So Cubitos, I have no hesitation whatsoever to say you're going to want to buy this one. It is tremendous fun. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd also ask you to please give us a thumb on Board Game Geek. That helps us out a lot. And if you're interested in World War II and military history, I'd urge you to check out my other channel, Cody Carlson PhD, where we discuss those topics. Please subscribe to that one as well. Ladies and gentlemen, what do Alexander the Great and Winnie the Pooh have in common? The same middle name. And they also murdered an entire village after their lover died of natural causes. It was in one of the later Winnie the Pooh books. Please somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know